Welcome to East Meets West. Today I have a special doctor. Yes, Dr. Michael Koku, the Chief Vision Officer of Esperanza Manifold Concept, and he is a physician by training and minister by calling. He's very enthusiastic about human development and growth. So before his relocation to the US, 13 years back, he worked as a medical officer in the staff medical service of a prestigious University College Hospital in Nigeria. He joined the Salvation Army of West Philadelphia. Am I correct? Yes. And he served there for 10 years in selfless service. And as you can hear about Dr. Michael here and what he does, it's one indeed of serving others. And as a pastor of Royal Envoy, you can see his work that he does in Philadelphia with his people. And he's also a certified John Maxwell coach, speaker, trainer. And that's something we do have in common, as he loves to train and he loves personal growth and development. I know we are in for a treat as Dr. Michael speak about Leadershift. But welcome, Dr. Michael, welcome to East Meets West. And please do add anything else would you like that I might have left out from your introduction that we should know more about you. Please do.
Well, I mean, you did good. And at least if there's something I want people to know about me is I love God. I fear God, and I want people to know him, as I know him. And also, I'm very passionate about leadership because leadership is key. So any corporate institution, any country, any city, and even the family, leadership is very, very crucial. It's been so really very exciting area for me because I've always been in leadership position, and because it's not about just the position, it's all about serving your way up. And that's what I believe leadership is all about. It's all about you're not done serving. When you still at the top, you continue to serve because serving to me is like breathing, yeah. So when you're done serving, you're done leading. Yeah. That's why servant leadership is the best form of leadership.
Yes. So that is something we can agree on.
Yeah, correct.
So today, as we start this discussion about Leadershift, from where would you like to start?
Well, just, some people, I remember someone, she's a pastor in North Carolina, and she said the first time she had, because I do training every month, I do training every 6 weeks training. Within 2 months, I just take 2 weeks breaks. Then I start another cycle again, another cohort. So when she see me post the promo about the training leadership, she said it was really very new to her. Oh, what is leadership? And I believe someone is asking out there, what is leadership? Can leaders really shift? Why must a leader shift? And this has really changed my life. Leadership is the ability and the willingness, to make a leadership change that will positively enhance organizational and individual growth. So, and because once we know the shift, we need to make the shift, because making the shift is what we call is a leadership change. And once we make this leader shift, we're going to experience, there will be a positive enhancement on organizational and personal growth. I've taken some organization through this course before. It's a 6-week course because I believe something about there's a difference between an event and a kind of a form of No, the event help people to make decision, but process is the key to transformation. So let's say you have a one-day event. It's always good to have an event. It helps people to make decision. But what brings a lasting transformation to people is process. So that's why I love the hybrid, people having an event, then after the event, then they go on a 6 weeks mastermind, which we call training, because it brings room for accountability. It creates a community. And also it brings a forum for encouragement. I like to give people name tag during my the mastermind training, especially one of the key things I emphasize, I'll talk about it today, is listening. Listening is key. So I encourage people to be a CLO, Chief Listening Officer, because we've had a lot about CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and I'll give my own CEO tag, Chief Encouragement Officer. I like to play with words. And if you hang with me long enough, it's one skills that God gave me when I was in medical school. I was able to help a lot of my medical colleagues, how to simplify knowledge. So I developed a lot of acrobats. At that time, I created a group called, it's a mnemonic club, where we simplify knowledge and where people can easily apply it in order to pass this. Because there's so many things to learn as a doctor, yeah. And, so we came up with that innovation, and I was the head of that community. We call it IBM.com. We were able to help people. So that's why my company's concept, Esperanza, means hope. Manifold means, something, a multidimensional stuff. Concept, I believe so much in concept. I conceive a lot of ideas, process it into where people can simplify knowledge. So let's talk about that leadership. We've actually defined leadership, that is the ability and the willingness. It's not just an ability, it's also the willingness, for, to make a leadership change that will enhance organizational and personal growth. Now, having said that, so we need to begin to look at what are the 11 leadership. What are the shifts? What do they look like? So there are 11 shifts every leader needs to make. Like I've said, I'll mention the shift, and I'll mention how to make the shift. So let me just highlight the 11 shifts. The first one is what we called the focus shift. The focus shift. Now, in this focus shift, we're talking about moving from a soloist to a conductor. Now, in this kind of shift, the most important thing is this: you moving from me to we. It's interesting if you look at the word me and we. The difference is that the me is an M, and the other one, the we, is a W. So all you have to do is just to play with the words, invert, take the M and turn it upside down. And that's all. The E is good, So, so I want you to remember, I'll be doing that to simplify it. So the goal of this focus shift is you shifting the focus from me to we. That's why we call it from a soloist to a conductor. You remember, a conductor faces the orchestra. A conductor focus is on the orchestra. You highlighting them. This is when a leader begins to highlight, the achievement of the team. It's not about you. You are moving the focus on them, because it's not all about you, the leader. It's all about the people that you are serving. That's what leadership is all about. Leadership is not all about being in charge. It's all about taking care of the people in your charge. So this is a very powerful principle. Now, the second shift is what we call the personal development shift. The personal development shift. In this personal development shift, you moving from goals to growth. It's when we move from goals to growth. Because right now, you are you stop, instead of asking the question, how long will it take? You shift to asking the question, how far can I go? So we have a goal mindset and we have a growth mindset. Growth allow you, growth goals, setting goals is all about achievement. It's all about status. But when you are growth minded, it's all about development and stretching. You want to see how far can you go? When you move from asking the question that, oh, how long will it take me to how far can I go? That will make you so that would take your leadership to another level. Because don't forget, goal is always focusing on, like I said, it's focusing on achievement, it's focusing on status. Goal has a finish line, but growth has no finish line. There's no finish line. That's what I saw with Dr. John Maxwell. I mean, this man is in 75. At 75, he's not quitting. He's not slowing down. Because you have to make that shift from goal to growth. Because growth, exactly. With growth, you know what I'm saying? Growth is the target.
Michael, that, as you're speaking, I'm thinking, indeed, when we think of goal, you're going to reach that end line, and then what?
Yeah.
Then
it's what I'm saying.
As you speak, it's indeed about growth. Okay, what next? And you keep moving forward, because some of us shut down when we achieve this. We reached a point in life and we totally stop working towards anything else. And I see this play out with the older generation, I should say. They pretty much stop growing, stop setting things that they want to achieve in life, because they have achieved and they achieved the goals that they have set. That's it.
Exactly.
There's no further growth.
Yeah. And it's very important. But there's this, I'm still gonna, like I said, I'm just highlighting all the 11. I'm still gonna come back and give some, and just take 2 or 3 of them and show you what it looks like. Yeah. So, and the third shift we're talking about is what we call the cost shift, COST, the cost shift. This is moving from PERKS to price. PERKS to price. Now, what is this all about? PERKS is what you get as a result of being in a leadership position. Maybe you are a leader and you get a special parking space and you get some benefits, some vacation, you get some, some trip, some expensive trip and all that. Those are PERKS. So if you want to last in leadership, you need to move from PERKS to price. That means you're not in leadership based on what to get, but based on what you want to give, because there's some price points. It's a leadership is always paying price. The higher you go, the more the price you have to pay. Leadership is like an auction. When you go to an auction, for example, when they start, everybody's bidding. But as the price goes up, the number of the bidders goes down. That's what leadership is all about.
I thought of the verse actually in this one here. It says, to whom much is given, much is required.
Exactly. That's it. You just put a word on it. Because as a leader, that's what people do not understand. One of the quotes that I love quotes. I created a WhatsApp group called Thinkers Island with more than 180 professionals all around the world. Some of them are professors. Some of them are PhDs. We have doctors, lawyers, different kind of folks that have gone through my training, and I share with them a minimum of 5 quotes a day. And every day for the past 2 years, we just celebrated the 2 years of Thinkers Island. And, I do that consistent, and other people to share quotes too, but they know, at least if nobody shares, at least I will share 5. At times I share 8 quotes. And one of the quotes that really speak to me, because quotes speak to me, I learned the quote when I finished reading 15 Laws of Growth from Dr. John Maxwell 2 years ago. Like, wow, I saw the power of quotes. So this quote was talking about leadership is not a license to do less, but a responsibility to do more. Some people think that when you become a leader, you start telling people, it's not a license to do less, but a responsibility to do more. Leadership is all about responsibility. Without responsibility, a leader will end up a liability. Yeah, so the cost is moving from perks to price. Now, let's go to the next shift now. Is what we call the relational shift. The relational shift. Now, this relational shift is when you make a leadership change from pleasing people to challenging people. Somebody said, if you would like to please everybody, don't be a leader, go and sell ice cream. Yeah. A leader is not a pleaser. A leader is not in the business of pleasing people. Why? Because in this shift, you're giving up the need of the affirmation of the people that you're serving in order to be able to help them to be who they need to be. Because you need to challenge people. And this is where you balance care and candor. Candor is being frank and being honest. Mm-hmm. So there's a need to balance that care and candor. So this is a very crucial shift. In fact, this is where we are what we call some things I called TBN, and I mean, when I use this TBN concept, is what I call tough, but honest conversation. You'll be having this tough but honest conversation, because this conversation is very necessary, because people, as a leader, when you avoid confrontation, you're not helping the people. I mean, you have to confront them, not busting people over the head, but you got to move from pleasing people to challenging people. In fact, Dr. John Maxwell said, this is one of the most difficult shifts that he has to make, because he started as a pleaser. He want everybody happy. Is everybody happy? Is everybody happy? He found that really he's not going nowhere with this. Because as a leader, you're not here to make people happy. You're here to lead people, to make them to be more effective. That's what this shift is all about. Now, the fifth shift that we want to look at is what we call the abundance shift. The abundance shift. This abundance shift is moving from maintaining to creating. From maintaining to creating. You see, a maintaining mindset is a scarcity mindset. And creating mindset is an abundance mindset. And this shift really, it anchors on two things. On number one, creativity and flexibility. You see, creativity is saying there's always an answer. But flexibility is saying there's more than one answer. So this is a very crucial shift because it's a very vital shift. When you make those shifts, it's so very, very powerful shift. Now, the next shift that we want to look at is what we call the reproduction shift. Now, this reproduction shift is what we call the leadership mass. It's when we move from ladder climbing to ladder building. Now, in this place, a leader quits just thinking about just himself, that how high can I go? That's what ladder climbing is all about. You move from how high can I go to how much can I help other people to build their own ladder? In order to help people to build their own ladder, you yourself, you have to be in the top 10%. One of the things I really love in the Maxwell leadership is I like helping people that just came into the John Maxwell team that, like you said, I mean, we have such a vast resource like the Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and they didn't even know where to start from. So I like to, bring them under my leadership, with their permission, of course, and show them what I do. Because when I do my first mastermind, I was less than 2 months in the Maxwell leadership, and I had 12 different groups. And the executive vice president, Chris Robinson, when he had it, he said, no one has ever done that in the Maxwell leadership team worldwide. He said, I should send an email. So I sent it and he filed it for his own records. And in the next IMC, August IMC, he used me as an illustration. Because I wasn't planning to do, I just want to see, it's like that from goal to growth. I want to see how far can I go. I wasn't thinking about any record. I just want to see how far can I stretch. So this ladder climbing is very important because the ladder climbing to ladder building is very, very important. So it's a very powerful way in which you turn your leadership mass from addition to multiplication. That means you move from, you start becoming an equiper, an equiper of people. Now, the next shift we want to quickly look at is what we called the communication shift. Now, in this communication shift, this is when we make a shift from directing to connecting. You see, directing to connecting is a very, I'm coming back to really talk so much about this, and I'll tell you how to make this shift. I'll really give more understanding about this. But for now, what we need to just realize that in this place, you want to meet the people where they are so that you can take them with you to where they need to be. So this is what it's all about, is making all the efforts to connect with people where they are, instead of waiting for them at the top and expecting them to come and meet you over there. So it's a very powerful communication. I'm very, very, I'm so big about communication because, communication, the goal of communication is connecting. And when we talk about connecting, and I just finished a training on everyone communicate, few connect, and oh wow, with some group of professionals, that's one of the best thing I've ever done in my life. Oh, this content is so solid, talking about communication, because everyone communicates, only few connect. Because connecting itself is all about identifying with people and relating with them in a way that will increase your influence with them. So if you communicate and you don't connect, that means the goal of communication has been defeated. So let's look at another shift, which we call the improvement shift. Now, in this improvement shift, this is when we make a shift from team uniformity to team diversity. From team uniformity to team diversity. There's so many things being said now about inclusion, diversity, and all that. This is a very classic thing about this, because when you are on the same team, and when you are uniform, you all think alike. This is all about embracing. You are embracing thoughts, and embracing ways in which to make your team to be so diverse. Because the purpose of this is to bring people that will complement each other on the same team. So that is a very powerful shift. That is what improvement is all about. Improvement does not come through uniformity; it comes through diversity. We're not talking about diversity for the sake of diversity. Because you are white, you are black, let's come together. That's not what it's all about. Because it's based on the fact that each of you have what? Just like we talk about East meets West. That means East must be bringing something to the table. West must be bringing something to the table. East or West is not on the table because they are from the East, because they are from the West. It's not a racial situation. It is a leadership decision. That means you have to have something to bring to the table. Yeah. Now, the next one we want to look at is what we call the influence shift. Now, the influence shift is when you make a shift from positional authority to moral authority. Now, I'm coming back to talk more about this. I'll be dealing with those two, and those are the two I'll be highlighting. Now, because this is very important, because position is on its own doesn't make any difference, and what really counts is your moral authority, and this is really very important. That's the key to influence. And position just give you time to build relationship with people, but your moral authority is something that is anchored on two main things: integrity and courage. Yeah, like I said, we're still coming back to deal with this. The next one I want to look at is what we call the impact shift. Now, the impact shift is when we make a shift from trained leaders to transformation leaders. Now, trained leaders is somebody that know what and how, but they don't know why. They don't know why. But a transformational leader, they didn't just know the what, they didn't know the how, they know the why. So, and that's why they have the ability to reproduce other leaders. The first time Dr. John Maxwell started the Equip, and the Equip, actually, for a long time, I never knew what that Equip actually means. I've had Equip. I never knew what it means until I read. I just finished reading the 21 irrefutable laws, the new one, the 25th anniversary. That's when I got to know. So Equip actually means emphasizing qualities undeveloped in people. I said, wow, that was very witty. That was so beautiful concept. He said after they trained the first 1 million and 5 million leaders, and they now realize that, wow, they need to take them from a trained leader to transformational leader. And that's why transformation is a real powerful concept. And so those are the people that are relevant today and tomorrow. Trained leaders are just relevant just for today, but tomorrow they're gone. But transformational leaders, they are relevant to today and to tomorrow. They affect eternity. Now, let's see. The last one is what actually we call the influence shift. We talk about the influence shift. The last one we call the passion shift, and where we move from career to calling. And you see, there are three things. Everyone in the world can be classified into three categories. Those that do a job, number one. Number two, those that build a career. And number three, those that fulfill a calling. A calling is your why. There's nothing wrong in doing a job, building a career, but that should lead you to a calling. And that's why this shift is a very, very powerful shift, because this passion shift is a shift that really challenges people to know their calling. For instance, everything I'm doing now is a calling to me. When I do leadership training, it's a calling. I have a calling right now. I have identified my niche. And I found out because I was from the healthcare world. So, the healthcare organization is one of the streams of influence. So that's my number one niche. And then also, when I came into America right here, I work in the after-school space in Salvation Army. So the educational is another niche of mine. And because I also pastor, I'm in ministry. So the faith-based, I don't like the word religion. Yeah. So the faith-based is another niche of mine. Faith-based, not for profit. It's another niche. So of recent I've been doing some work with the healthcare organization, working with the top the chief medical directors in Nigerians. I've been working with them, and so many of them are learning what I'm doing. Just to bring a change, because when I was coming up as a student, there's so many things I see. I don't see leadership. I just saw managers. Because many doctors have been told that they are the head of the medical team, and they don't know nothing about leadership. The only leadership they know is the traditional leadership that beats people on the head, that is really totally counterproductive and counterintuitive. So I want to correct that. Not in a pride way, but to show them there's an alternative to what is good. Because there's so many crises happening, and they're causing a rift and rivalry in that system, which I believe I can fix because I've studied it, and I've understood it, and I can give the change. Yeah.
Dr. Michael, I love the way you have just simplified. And as you said, you have a gift for making knowledge simple.
Yeah.
I love how you simplified these 11 shifts in leadership. And indeed, if we can actually learn them, examine our lives. And I like you started off by saying being willing. right?
Yeah.
Be willing, because many of us may know many of these things then, but are we willing to take or make the shift of what might be needed in this moment in
Yeah.
your organization,
Yeah.
in your life per se? That are you ready to make that shift, to changing from, whether it's from me to we, your growth? Are you working with people to develop the people?
Yeah.
Those kind of shifting from maybe a more selfish way of, at least let me be taken care of. It's about my needs and what I will get, comparing to,
Mhm.
what can I do for others? So I love the way you have explained it and made it so simple. I know
Mhm.
that we're coming down to the ending of our time, but is there anything else you would like to add also, so that our viewers can get? I know there's so much that you can share. There's a wealth of knowledge that's in your head that you can share.
Well, I'm not sharing from my head. I'm sharing from my heart. Because when you are leading yourself, you use your head. But when you are leading others, you use your heart.
I like
And and there's a concept that I built about that heart. If you look at the word heart, this heart, and I was privileged to have touched a heart before. I know you've never touched a heart. As a medical doctor, I have handled a heart before, a human heart. Now, both live and and dead one. So the thing is this: the word heart, if you write it down, HEART, it's a 5-letter word. And the word heart, where we live, this planet heart, is a 5-letter word. There's something called anagram. When you arrange this word heart, you know what? If you take this H and bring it to the back, you know what you're gonna get? Heart. Did you get what I just illustrated?
Yes, Earth.
If you take the first word in heart, H, and take it to the back, and you're gonna get the word planet heart. You just move it to the back.
Mm-hmm.
That means the only thing that can change people on heart is what comes from the heart. If you just read something and you share with people, their life will not change. Why? It has not gotten to your heart. You see, there's something about when something enters into the heart. The Bible says something like that: eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, no heart has conceived. You see, whenever the heart conceives, it's like a woman having pregnancy. When a woman has a pregnancy, you start seeing some changes. Those changes are just automatic. Hormonal changes and all that. The woman could have been married for many years and been having time with her husband. No, there's no changes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing. You can read for many years and all that until something changes you. You can become a change agent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's very important as leaders not just to read. We use 3 concepts when I do my training. The first one is learn it, 3 L's. The second one is live it. And the last one is lead it. So you learn, you live, and you lead. That is the process of transformation of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Living it is applying it to have your own practical experience. So nothing changes people on heart if it doesn't change your own heart. That's when we talk about trained leaders to transformational leaders. They are transformational leaders because they have been transformed. Their heart has been changed. And when there's a heart change, there's going to be a life change. So it's a very powerful lesson in leadership. So that's why as leaders, we must not be a travel agent. We must be a tour guide. What's the difference? A travel agent has not been there and is sending people to where he has not been to. But as a tour guide, you are taking people through so that's why the greatest thing about leadership is we need to have this personal leadership. How do we have personal leadership? I'll quickly share 4 things in having personal leadership. The first thing is that we have to learn followership to develop personal leadership. Because if you can't lead yourself well, you can lead others. You're not even qualified to lead others. So developing personal leadership begins with number 1, learning followership. That means you have to have a mentor. That's why I'm in mentorship in Maxwell Leadership. I know, and I'm in Shanti too. You are in mentorship, you know. So the thing is that is the thing. So you need to be in this to learn followership so that you will know what you will feel, what followers feel. So you will know how to be a good leader. The second thing is to practice self-discipline. Self-discipline is key, is a very, very powerful key, you know, and that's practicing self-discipline is a very, very powerful principle, because discipline is putting yourself under a schedule and holding yourself accountable to really make sure you do what you say you're going to do. That's what we call self-discipline. The next one is we need to seek accountability. Because if a leader doesn't account, you can amount. You know, seeking accountability is key. It's key, you know, and another one is self-control. So those are the thing I would like to share. Now, before I leave, you know, I mentioned directing to connecting. So how do you move from directing to connecting? That's the only thing now I liked because of our time. You know, I can talk for 5 hours.
I know, but definitely I will be inviting you back as we go more in depth.
Exactly. So I'll give a simplistic formula for that. I use what we call deleg curiosity. THELEG, then curiosity. How do you move from directing to connecting? So to move from directing to connecting, so it's 7 things, you know, and then to make the leadership shift to connecting, how to connect with people. So you need to make this shift and use the 7 things. So THE, I'll tell you what T means, HELEG, then curiosity is already curiosity. So the first one, the T, is trustworthiness. Be someone others can count on. You have to be someone others can count on. So that's the trustworthiness. To remain trustworthy in the eyes of others, you have to work at being continually successful in 3 areas. Number 1, integrity in your life. 2, consistency in your actions. And 3, competence in your work. So that is the key to trustworthiness. So I said THELEG. So the H is humility. Let people know you need them. As leaders, we have to let people know that we need them. We must let people know that they are needed. So let people know you need them. Humility is very, very, very important. Then the E, effort. We have 2 E's, you know, I said THELEG. So the first one is effort. Go out of your way to connect with people. You know, someone said the big man in the room is not the man that stays, keep to himself, waiting for others to come and meet him. The big man in the room is the one that make the initiative to meet others. When you see a real leader walk into a room, they will go about meeting other people. So that is what we call effort. Because connecting, we always require effort. It requires initiative. So you need to go and meet people. Leave where you are and go down. Get out from your horse and go and meet people where they are. Then the L is listening. You see, I can talk about listening all day. This listening opened the best door to connecting with people. There's power in listening to people. One of the greatest thing that have helped me in this area is a quote from Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek said, hearing is listening to what is being said, but listening is hearing what is not being said. Wow, that really helped me. So when you are hearing someone, you are listening to what the person is saying. But when you are listening to someone, you are hearing what the person is not saying. Because only 7% of communication is by word of mouth. Only 7%. You know, we have the rest of it, 93% come from body language and tone, you know, the tone of the voice, you know, and that is very, very important. Tonality and body language carries 93%. So this is very, very crucial. Then the E, you know, I mentioned 2E, and after about listening, then the second E is encouragement, which is give people oxygen to their soul. Then the G is generosity. You know, I like to give people a label of CGO, Chief Generosity Officer. And like John Maxwell said, generosity is not a bank account, it's an attitude. And the last one is curiosity, which is asking questions. You know, great leaders ask great questions. So we must learn to ask a question. I would just like to stop here, not to take your time. Like I said, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on. And because speaking to me is like putting a fish inside the water, you know. Yeah.
Dr. Michael, I do know that you have a lot, and I do intend to invite you back on our program as you elaborate on some of these things that you would have also shared here today. And
you're welcome.
There's a lot of nuggets you have shared, and I'm sure that many of our viewers that are listening to this here, there are things that can start shifting in their lives. And everything that you've shared here that can impact us and change in us. And it do start with self-leadership. It starts with us choosing to work on us so that we get better. And then looking at, okay, how can I be able to empower others also? And so what you've shared here today is something that really, you know, helping all of us to be able to make that shift in our lives. And so thank you very much for making the time out. I know you're a very busy person, and you've come into this here so that you can keep adding value to others, because that's your calling too. And so I just love the opportunity that you've given us to hear from you and to add value to us. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome, Shanti. Thank you, Dr. Shanti, for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Michael. And so
God bless you.
guys, help us to help others also by sharing this video, commenting, and also asking questions. So to our viewers, you can ask Dr. Michael any question in the comment below, and he will respond to you. So do reach out and work on shifting your leadership. And where do you want to take it? So keep growing and keep learning, and look forward to seeing you in our next segment. So thank you again, Dr. Michael.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.